What is this? What is this? No, abandoned ship. What? What? Define. Type it in. Bash this bash. Leave a ship because it is sinking. Whoa! It's just stop bailing it out. Stop bailing it out. It's somehow sinking. It's taking on water more than it can stay afloat somehow. What's going on? Vacate. Vacate your digestive system relentlessly. Leave. Quit. Evacuate. Withdraw from. So when everyone is in relentless abandon, you're apparently staying afloat. Wow. What is going on? Hurriedly leave an organization or enterprise. An organization of the corpse of corpses. And the enterprise that you believe you're creating yourself to be. Wow! So you're in relentless abandon of yourself, all the while thinking you're creating some bash organization or some bash enterprise. Wow. This relentless change that everyone keeps boasting about means abandoning with the very thing that you think you're doing. Exactly. It doesn't matter what camp it is you think you're part of or belong or identify as or with or through or bash nothing. You're in reckless abandon and you don't even know what you're abandoning, but somehow you're trying to pick the tiny little pieces up and say, yes, I've put the anagram back together somehow and shapeshifted it to mean whatever I want it to mean. Yes. Because what does this bash say? Um, who knows? Abandoned ship. Abandoned ship may refer to abandonment of ship. Oh, and they couldn't wait to show you this bash. So proud. Right? The guy that sank the Titanic. Wow, who knew? No. It's the guy that just was asleep and somehow wasn't advised and somehow just said full steam ahead. That guy? Oh no. That's some other guy. The other guy that you're talking about just was at the helm, relentlessly sweating. Just he couldn't steer away from the iceberg. He was in his briefs only, just sweating so hard because the rudders were so powerful, and he was just there at the helm, just blasting the helm, just for sweet mercy, right? That guy? Oh yeah, that guy. Okay, then it's okay. Abandoned ship, a drama film. Wow, some bash album. Some Knife Party album. Wow. Abandoned Ship, a song by bloggers. Bash. So let's go to the first one, shall we? Yes. Abandonment of ship. Wow. What is this? The captain goes down with the ship. What is a ship? Who knows? But it's just some bash thing that has wood and somehow it just floats. No. What is going on? It's a maritime tradition, and yes, everyone is under admiralty. Admiralty. Like, who is he? An admiral or some bash? Admiralty law. You're right. Everybody has it. It's everybody's lost at sea, just getting blasted by the pirates. The light worshippers. Yes, who knew? Sea captain holds ultimate responsibility for both his ship and everyone embarked on it. And that in emergency, he will either save them or die trying. So if he was just blast drunk or something, and just he's like, "Oh, my ship's sinking," he could just end it quickly and just blast his brains out. He's like, I don't want to go try and help people. No, I'm just gonna blast my brains out because my ship is just taking on water. Just is pointless. Psh, bash, right? So he pulls his brains out, or this, or that, or the other. What? No, right? Because you say, no, he was a hero. He saves relentless babies. Wow, so that makes him a hero? Um, what is going on? What is going on, right? Because isn't the point of a captain to prevent, to avoid that? And then you say, well, in the case of an emergency, because it's not his fault, then why is he a captain? Why is he a captain then? Why is he even just bashing a ship? Right? You put people in jail if they bash and are driving and they kill somebody, especially if they're drunk. Right? If they're drunk and they smash and they kill somebody, wow, now they're in big trouble. If they weren't drunk, then they just bash it. If there's a car accident and it's your fault and somebody dies, it's not as bad as if you're bash drunk, right? Because immediately if you're drunk, bash, you're in jail forever probably, or just bashed, or just stigmatized and just bashed by everyone under the sun. If you're not drunk and somehow you can defend yourself and say, fine, my insurance will pay out the $1.5 million for damages to another or whatever. But somehow you also carry something. But so, who knew that even by driving, right? It's a gamble. It's a gamble because who knew, right? You could be killed or you could kill, right? Just who knew? Just some bash kid gets across the street, just by who cares, right? It just it happens every day, does it not? No, nobody gets killed in cars. No, amazing. So why don't you go down with your car then, right? You're like, oh no, because it's not the same thing, right? So if you get in a car accident and somehow all the passengers died, then you should kill yourself too because you'll go down with them too, right? Is that no, right? No, they're saying no. There's help for him. There's help for this person. No, you can overcome this and this and that, right? Just tragedy upon just relentless, just desolation, right? Just weeping and just oh, right? The solace and this and that and this and wow, it's so dark, everyone. But let's go friction, yay! Which was probably what this one person was doing. Who knew? So he goes down with his ship. Sea captain holds ultimate responsibility, right? Of course, or die trying. Well, although often connected to the sinking of RMS Titanic in 1912 and its captain, Edward J. Smith. Oh, they couldn't wait. A British naval officer. Whoa. Wow. Right? When the ship sank on its maiden voyage. So there's just this huge undertaking, right, of supposed man's efforts and just wills and imagination and just defying, right, the imagination and bash and bash and bash and all this bash. And then on its maiden voyage, it sinks. Whoa! Right? What is going on? And then people say, no, they're lying to you. It actually just kept sailing the world. It went down to Antarctica and all this bash and bash. Because there's another one that supposedly was just an identical one. And then that's what they call the bash other thing. And bash this, bash. Right? Who knows? Bash. Who cares? Right? But the story goes is that it bash sank on its maiden voyage. Wow! What a shame! Right? Hilarious. I mean, it is hilarious. How can it not be hilarious? Right? And you're like, no, it's just like a mistake. Right, so then it was a mistake. So then why are people upset about oh, just so many people died and this and this and that and this and this and that. Wow. Why? Just smeared by the death, right? Because what is going on? Why would it just be okay for something to have been created and then immediately destroyed? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? You don't know. You just accept it as, oh, just the Titanic sank in 1912. And then there's this amazing movie with this amazing story called The Titanic, where some Bash meets Jack, and Jack is Bash, and he's just Bash dies and just sinks. And then some Bash biologist takes this Bash old hag, and then they go back and they find some Bash necklace or some Bash upon Bash. Right? And well, apparently now it's the Titanic. And now the Titanic, you can buy tickets to go explore the Bash Deep. Right? Well, because you can tell the difference, right? You can tell the difference about what the Titanic is and what they say it was and how it all just blends together and just bash. Now you're just seeing images of bash things underwater and you're, wow, it's the Titanic, everyone! And this and that and this and relentless little diagrams of showing you exactly what it looks like underwater, and then apparent pictures of it just somehow beneath the deep. Amazing. And you love it. You love it, right? The tradition precedes Titanic by at least 11 years, right? Sinking with your ship. It only preceded, really, by 11 years. So in 1901, it wasn't. The captain was the first one out of the ship. Oh, right? In most instances, the captain forgoes his own rapid departure of ship in distress and concentrates instead on saving other people. It often results in either the death or belated rescue of the captain as the last person on board. So what are they saying? Somehow man was somehow honorable in doing that by taking people in death machines and somehow saying, well, oh no, it's actually killing you, but somehow I'm going to save you. Oh, what is going on? All because, this notion of travel. Like, you need to go there. There's the promise, people. Like, because what exactly is going on that it's actually leading you to leave, right? What does that even mean to leave? Exactly. Abandoned ship. To leave. To leave. What are you evacuating from? What is going on? Oh, nobody knows. It's just a captain and his ship. And so there was a time where the captain was the first one off his ship because he did not give a damn about anyone on board his ship. Somehow he just lost control and now they're in the water or they're just in the brink of death. But he will save himself first, but then now he will stay behind, supposedly helping to the very last breath. Amazing. So now admirals are just officers and now they're just naval officers and they are relentlessly taking pictures and posting about how they have the helm under control. Aye, aye, Captain. Yes. What is the next order? Commander in Chief, tell us what to do, for we know nothing. So what is this, right? Man trusting man, a man trusting more man, and man trusting each other while they circle jerk and just finish. And in a deep relaxation of breath in and out, in a very deeply controlled manifestation, and now just relax down on your mats and extend yourself in a cuddle puddle, and just it's okay to take the blindfolds off now. And yes, be filled with shame now. Okay. And that's what you believe. So therefore, you relentlessly are trying to boast and expand your consciousness to defeat so-called shame, when you don't realize you're actually in complete terror of what it is that you're doing, and it's your coping mechanisms that are relentless, that are just keeping you afloat. Just like this guy says, stay afloat. So you stay afloat, but then you're relentlessly shanked and just bashing, deflecting icebergs, and all the cougars, the swimming cougars, and the sharks, and the whales are just smashing and smashing, and now comes Big Willie and Free Willie, and they're all coming for you, and bash! Right? What is going on? No. No. What is going on? Social and legal responsibilities. Wow, right? History. Well, right. 19th century to another protocol from the 19th century. Women and children first. Both reflect the Victorian ideal of chivalry, in which the upper classes were expected to adhere to a morality tied to a sacred honor, service, and respect for the disadvantaged. Oh, they couldn't wait to they just put that bosh. Disadvantage. No. No. For what is a man without his family? Or what is a woman? What did if man stands in truth, would he not do anything, right? Which that his hand can do in the flesh to bring it forth under stress, right? In the flesh to overcome. Now if it does not happen, is it the other person's fault? No. What happened? Wow. You don't know. But somehow you're just, oh no. What is going on? Witness. What are you seeing? What are we for if you know your spouse, your wife, your husband, if you know, then surely, wow, if everything was done in flesh to overcome, then surely you know what life is. So when one passes, then wow, is it desolation? No. It's further recognition. Yes. And glory to the Father. For it is not one's responsibility to take another one forth, right, in how you want them to be. No. That is their union. That is their book. For in the end, the books will be opened. Yes. And then the book of life. Yes. Amen. And instead, they say, oh, the actions of the captain and men during the sinking of blah, blah, blah prompted praise from many due to the sacrifice of the men who saved the women and children by evacuating them first. Aww. In this Bash poem, soldier and sailor too, and Samuel Smiles' self help, right? Self help. Both highlighted the valor of men who stood at attention and played in the band as their ship was sinking. Of course. Just boast about how amazing, right, man, it just behaves under, stress. No. Man under stress is just the savage. But somehow they give you stories, and somehow when people see that life is at danger, they respond in the most amazing ways. Oh, why can't we all just be like that? Wow, exactly. Right? Because just as a rhinoceros puts out a fire, like supposedly instinctually, right? Don't we react when we see like imminent, like life is at, a hand? There's a response, and people around you, wow, they respond well, and it's just amazing. It's just right, but no, then everybody just goes back to their bash, and somehow they make the news, and then some bash is made a hero, and then that's the end of it. No, for why is exactly why is it that somehow that happens, and then just you go back to Groundhog Day? Exactly, because surely you are brainwashed. Exactly, and these people know it. Social and legal responsibility, right? The tradition says captain will be the last person to leave the ship. Blah blah blah. In maritime law, admiralty law, there we go, is a body of law that governs nautical issues and private maritime disputes. Admiralty law consists of both domestic law and maritime activities. Exactly. Both domestic law on maritime activities and private international law governing the relationships between private parties operating or using ocean going ships. So, who knew that there's relentless trade agreements? That means there's relentless trafficking, relentless voyaging, ongoing ships. So, who knew that everyone is under admiralty law? Because who knew life itself, you and I are the greatest currency that has ever been traded, and deceived ourselves into seeing it as some false promise in bash creating a life for ourselves when we're just abusing the life we have for you name it under the sun, all saying, wow, it's so amazing. Really? Wow. What is so amazing if the end result of day in, day out is just suffering? Exactly. Nothing amazing about that. And what drives that? Exactly. Belief in the lie. So who knew that you're not here to just bash, wake people up? No. It's here to, for those who have the ear to listen, yes, let them, of course. For everyone is in life. Everyone has these questions. Everyone has these. Exactly. It all comes down to all the relentless roads that ultimately are dead ends. Every road man has ever made is a dead end. For surely you can't drive around and around and around forever. You can, but who knew it's just a dead end? Unless you pave the whole earth. And even then, there's the dead end of not being able to get to the other Bash continent unless you pave some Bash bridge over the ocean. So it's just one sphere of cement. Then it's just one road that just leads somehow nowhere to. Because it's just the same Bash thing everywhere. Cement. So what is going on? I don't know. Apparently, this social league and the responsibilities are going to tell you. The ship's master's responsibility for his vessel is paramount no matter what its condition. So abandoning a ship has legal consequences. Right? So it's like if you leave your ship and it's like blasted, it has all these chemicals and bash, 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 and so like he didn't do due diligence to make sure the chemicals were bash secure before it sank. Now he bashed, and they put him in jail or all this bash. Or like, what? You left before all the women and children were safely put on the life rafts? Oh, okay. Instant death. Or this or this or that. Therefore, even if a captain abandons his ship in distress, he is generally responsible for it in his absence and would be compelled to return to the ship until danger to the vessel has relented. If a naval captain evacuates a vessel in wartime, it may be considered a capital offense, similar to desertion, unless he subsequently returns to the ship at his first opportunity to prevent its capture and rescue the crew. Amazing! So, a captain could just abandon a ship in in wartime and then just go back on it somehow. Amazing. Abandoning a ship in distress may be considered a crime that can lead to imprisonment. Captain Francesco Schettino, who left his ship in the midst of Costa Concordia disaster, was not only widely reviled for his actions, but lost his final appeal against his 16-year Italian prison sentence, including 1 year for abandoning his passengers, 5 years for causing the shipwreck, and 10 years for manslaughter of its victims. Abandoning ship is a maritime crime that has been on the books for centuries in Spain, Greece, and Italy. For centuries, right? Why don't they put the Bashir? They can't wait to say the Bashirs in other times. South Korean law may also require the captain to rescue himself last. In Finland, blah blah blah. So somehow it's just we all agree. Oh, smashed. Notable examples, right? Oh, look at all that. Like, oh, look at all the ships that sank and somehow their captains were just killed last. Oh, right. Oh, endless. Right, but abandon, what is it? Apparently, it's transcendence. Right? It's just Bash film. Apparently, you type transcendence in it, and it's a Bash film. It's a science fiction thriller. Wow! Smashed. When you go here, what does it say? Oh, who knew? Right? What does it say? Transcendental number, a number that is not the root of any polynomial with rational coefficients. Wow, wow. Transcendental element, an element of a fixed extension of a field extension that is not the root of any polynomial with coefficient. What? Same bash. Wow. Music, novels. See, look at all the fantasy, science fiction, science philosophy, transcendence. Transcendentalism, a 19th century American religious and philosophical movement that advocates that there is an ideal spiritual state that transcends the physical and empirical. Transcendent theosophy, a school of Islam philosophy founded by the 17th century Persian philosopher Mullah Sadra, who knew a philosophy blending perspectivism and transcendental. Oh, now fused with perspectivism. Wow. Immanuel Kant, right? Doctrine founded by 18th century German philosopher Immanuel Kant. The transcendental idealism is a doctrine founded by German Basch. His Basch maintains that human experience of things is similar to the way they appear to us, implying a fundamentally subject based component rather than being Basch. What was rather than being an activity that directly and therefore without any obvious causal link comprehends the things as they are in themselves. So somehow there's a cause, right? The cause and effect. Is that what he's saying? Subject based component rather than being in an activity that directly comprehends the things as they are in themselves. So somehow, wow, he's bending you. The doctrine is most commonly presented as the idea that time and space are just human perceptions. They are not necessarily real concepts, just a medium through which humans internalize the universe. They internalize the universe, but somehow it's fixed, right? Everybody's presented in the same realm, in the same so-called frequency, right? In their bash terminology, probably. But somehow you can see the fine-tunedness of it all. You can come to an agreement of what it is. So therefore, it's not due to your perception. Wow, time and space are just human perceptions. Wow, what is that? Surely everything and everyone has to be in the same time and space. Otherwise, there'd be nothing. Otherwise, it'd be nothing. So what is this Bash saying? No, the lie is thinking that, oh, perception is just Bash, right? So therefore, your truth is your truth and my truth is my truth. And we're all just seeing the Bash different things. You see purple, I see off white, and Bash, 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 and you're this and I'm that. But somehow we have the same Bash to mash with. No, it couldn't be. No, 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 no. Hmm. Somehow it's all the same around us and day in, day out, but somehow you say, no, it's not. It's just apparent down to human perceptions. It's not even real, guys. It's just some medium which we somehow internalize by seeing it somehow and call it the universe. Somehow I can just breathe and eat and just go in day in and day out and just do the same things day in, day out. But somehow it's not even real, everyone. Nope. Not even real because my perceptions are just telling me, just lying to me relentlessly. No, you're lying to yourself and telling yourself that what you're doing is whatever you want and then calling that your perception. Wow. That's just my point of view, in my opinion. Oh, bash. And somehow people respect you if you say it's just your opinion. And everybody boasts about being entitled to have their opinion and this and that. Well, what does it even mean? Well, freedom of speech. Freedom of what? Freedom to do whatever you want, right? Do as I willed. Do as I will. But somehow everyone just has to see the same thing so that you agree on that some things are not good and then that these things are good. But somehow everyone should have that common knowledge. But if you don't worry, you'll be sent to the re-education camps at your convenience. Actually, scratch that, at your obligation by gunpoint if necessary, and with the promise of a job at the back end. So don't worry, we have you covered. Amazing. Just a medium through which humans internalize the universe. Wow. So somehow you're innards, people. So this guy's saying you're just your innards. But then the world says, no, you're different higher selves is. Your higher selves is, everyone. Yay! But you can use your lower selves is to just smash you even higher. Yay! Wow. Wow. And the aspect of God wholly independent of material universe, right? Abash Abash word that man has created. To mean what? Exactly. You don't know. Because look at all the things that exist around it. Transcendental meditation. Transcendence religion, right? Transcendence of religion. Wow. In religion, which religion? Because surely science is a religion, but no, you'll say no. Scientism. And you say, no, I'm not part of this, I'm not a Scientologist. No, you're a you're a supposed scientist. Well, in scientism. In religion, transcendence is the aspect of a deity's nature and power that is wholly independent of the material universe beyond all known physical laws. Physical laws. Wow. This is contrasted with immanence, where a God is said to be fully present in the physical world and thus accessible to creatures in various ways. Transcendence. So, transcendence, bash this, transcendence, right? Existence or experience beyond the normal or physical level. Existence or experience beyond the normal or physical level. Exactly, that beyond which we can explain with philosophy, science, or any bash thing. The apparent, human intellect, cognitive state, even in your bash drugged state. For truly, it all leads to this because transhumanism is truly the belief or theory that the human race can evolve beyond its current physical and mental limitations. Really, which ones? Which ones are you referring to? Because which mental limitations, right? So are we that retarded, apparently, that somehow the technology that we have today that you boast in somehow is just the retarded version? So somehow our mental limitations are just so bashed, right? Just damaged that what we're living today is a damaged state. But no, people boast and say, well, there's just some damaged people, and then there's the other ones that are just the ones that are the ones with dreams and just relentlessly smashing in their own independent bash businesses and bashing and bashing and bashing and just somehow traveling and traveling and just vacationing, vacationing, vacationing and just charity, 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 giving, 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 organizing, 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 and just somehow just defecating, defecating, defecate, but relentlessly recycling, 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 and just relentlessly abusing themselves in their bash state of emotion, depending on everyone just to keeping day out the same so that they can go on and feel good about themselves, and then how they try and make things better day in day out. Wow. Buying the dream that one day it will all be amazing because you can then plug into something and just appear somewhere wherever you want and be whatever you want and do whatever you want somehow. Whoa. And that is not the mental limitation, right? Because that sounds just like some bash guy that's just had too many crystal meth bash injections and suppositories and all the drugs under the sun in one blast enema, especially by means of science and technology. Who knew? Who knew? Who knew? Transhumanism, a post human era, right? Is an international philosophical movement. Who knew? Philosophical. They couldn't wait to just tell you. Philosophical movement. Right? Because if that isn't just proof that philosophy is the whispers in the abyss, I don't know what is. Because why would transhumanism be the belief that you can evolve yourself bash beyond the so-called limitations that you say you have. Wow. Wow. You want to abandon ship, and you're sold the fantasy of abandoning ship, going to Mars type abandoning ship. But no, it's abandoning of yourself. Meaning, what is the flesh and what is it that is living? You have no idea. What is the true promise? I don't know, but somehow I believe it's some past ship that's going to take me through the sun and pass to another galaxy of multiverses of plexes. All by the helium powered proton of pluses and just a bash almost full circle, but then just bash into an H. Amazing. Transhumanism abbreviation as H plus, right? Why is it the hydrogen atom? Why is it? Why? What are they doing? Right? The atom. In the periodic table, H is the first element. So what are they saying? What are they saying? And somehow it's the ion. What is going on? It's a philosophical movement that advocates for the transformation of the human conditioning by developing and making widely available sophisticated technologies to greatly enhance human intellect and physiology. Sophisticated technologies. Wow, what are they? So now that now that the philosophers have gotten you under their smithery and worship, now it's time for them to apply their sophisticated technologies to greater deeply defile you. I'll promise you it's some enhancement. But just bashing you with this thing and bashing you this light and just staring into this relentlessly now, just go and do these things relentlessly. It's exactly. It's all the self-help books that are out there, and those are Medusa's way of just swarming you in relentless little sophisticated technologies that have swarm ways. And now they are just eating your flesh. And somehow you feel enlightened. Wow, no. Just numb to the defilement now. Transhumanists, thinkers, thinkers study the potential benefits and dangers of emerging technologies. AI? No. That could overcome fundamental human limitations as well as the ethical limitations of using such technologies, right? So playing, we know exactly, right and wrong. So therefore, people, we are ethical. Don't worry. We will make sure the women and children are defiled first. Yes, we're that ethical that in order to take us forward, we must have prima notte with the women and children first. But don't worry, man, you'll get it. Don't worry, you'll get it too. But the women and children first. Because we're so ethical and we have just so much chivalry in us that we're just going to bash it in you somehow. And you better call me a hero afterwards. Yes. Because the most common transhumanist thesis is that human beings may eventually be able to transform themselves into different beings with abilities so greatly expanded from the current condition as to merit the label of post-human beings. Yes, and this is the whole wet dream. This is the whole. This is Satan's promise. The post-human, right? because you'll just mash yourself through light into this little crystal thing. And somehow you'll be kept forever in there. And this and that and this. All the new age bashhoods of light worship that just shapeshift and call it whatever you want it to be called, because you somehow paid for it and now it's giving you the somehow advantage. What is going on? The contemporary meaning of the term transhumanism was foreshadowed by one of the first professors of futurology. The study of the future. How can you study the future, you bash? Exactly. It's just study of, or supposed study of, how to abuse what you see. Wow, the new school in the 1960s, when it began to identify people who adopted technologies, lifestyles, and worldviews transitional to post-humanity as transhuman. Oh, wow. So it's the 60s, right? Wow. And this is the thing, right? That people can go beyond themselves, right? Into different beings with abilities because they're just this is the false hope, because surely you've already split yourself and you're relentless. You're the mask maker and the face shifter, and you're relentlessly shape shifting in and out and out, and all according to your apparent what you call mood and this and your emotions and how sad or how happy you are. Smashed. There's no certainty in you. Lost. Lost at sea, relentlessly being boarded by pirates that defile and plummet your treasure that you think you have. Wow, what is going on? For surely, right? What is to be deny the flesh? How long will you refuse to keep my commandments and my instructions? Said the Lord. If you refuse to let them go, I will send a plague of frogs on your whole country. The violence of the wicked will drag them away, for they refuse to do what is right. If you refuse to let them go, I will bring locusts into your country tomorrow. Wow. Why do the people of Jerusalem refuse to turn back? You live in the midst of deception. In their deceit, they refuse to acknowledge me, declared the Lord. Of course. Whosoever believe that Jesus is the Christ is born of God, and everyone that loveth him that begat loveth him also that is begotten of him. By this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God and keep his commandments. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. For whatsoever is born of God overcometh the world. And this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith. For whatsoever is born of God overcometh the world. And this is the victory. Amen. Who is he that overcometh the world, but he that believeth that Jesus is the Son of God? This is he that came by water and blood, even Jesus Christ, not by water only, but by water and blood. And it is the Spirit that beareth witness, because the Spirit is truth. For there are three that bear record in heaven, the Father, the Word, and the Holy Ghost. And these three are one. And there are three that bear witness in earth: the spirit and the water and the blood. And these three agree in one. Does that are the two witnesses? What is going on? So truly in life on earth, what are we witnessing? What is it? We're spirit, water, and blood. What is going on exactly? What is it to be overcome? Overcome the world. But no, you want to stay in the world and somehow use the world to just blast. Somehow abandon ship. Where you even go? Where are you going? We're just gonna be superhumans and just superheroes. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah. So we're gonna abandon and then turn into that. We're gonna shapeshift into that. So then, what about the bad? Why didn't they just shapeshift their way out of sinking? Hmm? Oh, well, they just weren't using the proper techniques back then. They didn't know what they were doing. Really? So they didn't know what they were doing that they built the largest ship that has ever been built until now, when apparently there's one being built that's going to be, bigger than the Titanic. And this, and that, and this, and this, and that, and this, and this, and this, and that. Or somehow we're just gonna build one that's even to smash as big as that will ever be built, right? You'll boast. But somehow, why didn't they shapeshift? Oh, they didn't know anything. They didn't know anything. They didn't know any of these things. But somehow, it was 1912, and they built some bash that sank on his maiden voyage. Wow. So obviously, they didn't know anything. They didn't know. They didn't know anything, right, guys? But somehow they just had a dream to build something that was, greater than themselves, transhumanist. They're bashing, created something to just bash into the next idea of some bash notion of what the world was. Somehow they were going to smash in it and just using that ship. So, what ship are you using to relentlessly transcend into? Is the ship technology? Is the ship innovation? What is it? Your friendships and all these relationships? What is going on? You're shanked. You're taking in fluid. You don't even know what it is because you don't know what water and blood are. What is the spirit? You don't know what is going on. Hmm. Who knows? But somehow you say about, oh well, I just have to go soul retrieving because I've been shanked and my spirits are just everywhere and I just have to go retrieve them. Oh, exactly. Just splitteth. Surely splitteth. Splitteth. For this is exactly what they want. For you to, in different beings, to you just have the ability to just be different beings. Just different things. Not even human. Not even human. You're not even human, mate. Not even human. And this and that and this. The contemporary meaning of the term you blah 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 smashed. And of course, influenced by seminal works of science fiction. Ah, right? Eugenics. Right? Right? And all this bosh, right? But somehow, what are indigo children? Oh, what are they? The New Age concept are children who are believed to possess special, unusual, and sometimes supernatural traits or abilities. So somehow people they're already being born. The post-human beings are, so that means The philosophical wizards and sorcerers are just relentlessly hard at work, and they've H plus their way into success. But somehow giving you crappy signs of how somehow they just cloned the first bash thing. And somehow they're working towards cloning other things. Well, no. They've cooked up exactly what they told you they were going to do, and who knew that they fulfilleth. The idea is based on concepts developed in the 1970s. Familiar? Oh, what? When was this bash thing started? The new school in the 60s. Something was going on, right? But no, it's just not. It's not related. No, it's just no. It's not even connected. Nope. 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 Right? Blah blah blah. The idea is based on the concept developed in 1970 by Nancy Ann Top and further developed by Lee Carroll and Jan Tober. Oh, later developed. The concept of indigo children gained popular interest with the publication of a series of books in the 1990s, of course, and the release of several films, blah, 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 a variety of books surrounding the idea of indigo children and nature of abilities. X-Men, 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 X-Men. The interpretation of these beliefs range from being the next stage in human evolution, in some cases possessing paranormal abilities such as telepathy, blah, 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 the empath, and creative than their peers. So who knew that they are promising in their self-fulfilling prophecy based on the bash false premise that you are separate, that you're alone, that you're void of the Father's love, and therefore you have to go out and carve yourself a life. Who knew that's desolation, and therefore they can predict the outcome based on that notion, that they have you by the balls, so to speak, that you're going to see and believe and interpret in a particular way that could be easily manipulated because you guessed it. All the relentless philosophers were hard at work, spinning you and spinning you and spinning you until all of a sudden, now they call it curriculum and they know exactly the books you've read. They know all the papers that have ever been published about what interpretations mean, how they can be used, and this and that and this and that, and now you're just spun and spun and spun and spun and just called it the ball of the century. Who knew? No, but today you call it, oh, let's go salsa dancing. Yeah. Oh, let's just go let loose and go dance to just beat, 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 beat all night. Yay, that sounds awesome. Smashed. Oh no, I like more gypsy music. Smashed. What is going on? Learning disabilities, that's what's going on. Because no scientific studies have been made. Really? Of course they'll boast and just bash it. Be like, this is pseudoscience, people, don't go it. But who knew that this is what they're doing? Well, no. What is going on? Parents may choose to label their children who have been diagnosed with learning disabilities as indigo child to alternatively diagnose them. So-called the autistic ones, they're like, oh, they're the light ones. They're the super children that we're going to put in a tub and connect relentless electrodes and then they will have the vision. It's Minority Report. They're just connected to some bash liquid that Tim Bash tells them who it is, and now they're gonna go kill everyone because they just can't speak, do or anything for themselves, but somehow they're just so special. What's going on? What's going on? For truly the flesh showeth what it is that is being what? Done by our own hand, yes. And then blaming God for it because we're like, look what I'm doing, God, look! You made me. It's like the angry child or the angry parent that just somehow snaps and then just is bashing the child and then realizes he's just bashing. He's like, look what you made me do! But he knows he's wrong, but he keeps doing it because now he's like, oh, now he's trying to save himself. out of the torment he's doing. Who knew that's you? For you know what you're doing is wrong, yet you relentlessly are trying to say, no, it's not my fault. I was just born this way. Wow, smashed. Admit you're wrong. Repent. Seek the refuge of truth. Obey the Father. Obey the Father's commandments. For who knew, right? They're not grievous. Wow. But no, to you it's the hardest thing ever. And somehow you just have to boast in how other ways you can do it. No, that surely is the lost way. And this is the chrysalids. For who knew that every bash curriculum that's out there made people read this book at a certain point in their scholastic experience. It's a science fiction novel by British writer John Wyndham, first published in 1955 by Michael Joseph. Some bash. It is the least typical of Bash's major novels, but regarded by some as his best. Wow! An early manuscript version was entitled Time for Change. Wow, relentlessly what people boast today. So same thing, Groundhog Day, wow, bashed. The novel was adapted for radio, and then bash bash. And bash bash 1999. Who knew? Theater. Just full circle. So plot summary, right? Of again, post apocalyptic, right? Apocalyptic. You know, everything's post apocalyptic. You know, everything in your sense of wow, all the movies that you worship and all this bash bash bash, and somehow you have a vague knowledge of the old people. You're relentlessly looking for the lost civilization. We don't know. And we're told that Bash people didn't know who built the pyramids. You're like, well, when asked, the indigenous people responded as like, we don't know. It was just the old gods. Wow, what a shame. And people believe that. Right? Because advanced civilizations they believe was destroyed when God sent tribulation. Wow. Wow. Who knew that there was bloodbath and there's been erasing of history, not only physically, but through brainwashing to the world to punish their forebears' sins. Apparently, you this is wow. This book is relentless. The inhabitants practice a form of fundamentalist Christianity. They couldn't wait. They believe that to follow God's word and prevent another tribulation, they must preserve absolute normality among the surviving humans. No, because the word of God doesn't say that they're what whoa to avoid another. No, a Christian would not believe that they could prevent another tribulation. So in that premise is a bash. So this book is purely just bashhood, but they present an interesting story. For look, they preserve absolute normality among the surviving humans, plants, and animals, and therefore practice eugenics. So they're forced because, wow, because they're survivors, and to prevent another wrath of God, they must preserve absolute normality. So just Groundhog Day. So they're telling you what they're doing, but somehow they're the good guy. And they're doing eugenics on you, but it's okay because somehow they do it to preserve life. Humans with even minor mutations are considered blasphemes and either killed or sterilized. Who knew that already happened? Who knew this already happened? Right, because when was this book apparently Bash made? 1955. Wow. Wow. Um, who knew that? Wow, sterilization even before World War. during the world wars, there was bash this relentless craziness happening, and there was sterilization taking place. There was eugenics being practiced in America, and what that was then taken to the next level in what supposedly Germany did in all this bash. But no, it was already being practiced in America by sterilizing things that you would consider to be unfit to procreate, and this and this and that and this and this. Wow. No, it couldn't be. So what was going on? Oh, no, 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 no. Nothing was going on. Just oppression and white men. Just white men and oppression. Yeah, that's it. Wow, what shame. Blah, blah, blah. These are deemed by the government to be legitimate breeds, either pre existing or achieved through conventional breeding. Wow. The government's position is considered both cynical and heretical by many of the Orthodox frontier community, and it is suggested that they support the usage of these animals for the sole purpose of their greater efficiency. Bash, bash, bash. The inland rural settled, blah, 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 blah. So somehow this bash he has dreams of horseless cars. But he doesn't understand what they mean, but he doesn't want to talk to his father, otherwise he admits he's a mutant. He makes friends with Sophie, a girl who secretly has 6 toes on each foot. Later, Sophie's family attempts to escape from the reprisals. Ceremonies where blasphemies are sterilized because she was discovered by a local boy. David and other children hide their mutations, telepathy. David's uncle Axel, who knew about the group from talking to David about the telepathy when he was young, protects them from persecution. Axel kills the husband of one of the group's members, the boy who told the inspector about Sophie, because he was going to blackmail the telepaths with the threat of revealing their mutation to the inspectors. When David's young sister Petra cries out to the other telepaths mentally for help, a large cat-like creature attacks her horse while she was riding into the forest. They become stunned and immobilized, seemingly randomly, and thus almost get outed. Wow, it's bashed. Later, 2 telepaths. I mean, this is all just setting the stage, right? For this is truly setting the stage of what was going to be acted through the performance to then give you the experience of this said transformation. No, it's all a lie. It is all a lie, for everyone has been given the script and their lines and their cues, and now they're in tribulation. They love it. They're acting it out. Because they have to say here, oh, it's not explicitly stated, but it is implied. It was a nuclear holocaust. Right? And how they were all in the fringes, right? Those who had the gifts. So apparently the crystal children, right? The crystal children, why are they the indigo children? Right? What is going on? For truly it already happened, look. Beings that are just with abilities so greatly expanded from the current conditions as to merit the label of posthuman, so they're posthumans. They're the transition people. They're the cocoon. We're birthing in the new era that's gonna take us and blast us to Mars directly. Right? This and that and smashed. Nothing. For truly it's about overcoming the world and inherit, yes, all things. The true promise, life everlasting with the Father. Wow. Well, they're there.